Hey, welcome to another episode of Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you the information for you to make an informed decision at the ballot box. We've got a great show for you tonight. We got the three amigos, the three gimps. We are here to give it all for you guys out there. So let's get the show started. My good pal, all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma, with the dulcet tones like Lauren Bacall. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall.
Hey Art, how you doing?
I'm
How's it
doing
going?
pretty good.
Good. Yeah, we got a lot of good crap to talk about today.
Yep.
We get to talk about the idiots in Washington and the idiots around the world.
Right.
A lot of
All
idiots
right.
to talk about
Without
today.
further ado, all the way from that blue state of New York, let's welcome Charles Galusky. Welcome.
Hey Art, hey Lloyd, everybody in the
Hey
chat.
Charles.
Hey, good to see you. Is the weather any better today?
It stopped raining, but it's still kind of cool and windy and gloomy.
Right. Okay. Alrighty. And how about you, Lloyd? It's still hot and
No, it's not hot. It's comfortable. It's just
good.
been comfortable. Yesterday was a little cloudy, but today has been. But we're fixing to have a cold spell hit the middle of the week, so I think it's going to start cooling off here pretty soon. And we do it in stages. You know, we keep cooling, then we level off for a little bit, go up, and then we just keep dropping until we hit our cold weather, which they're talking about possibility of maybe snow by maybe Halloween.
Oh, wow, wonderful.
We've had it here in Halloween, but we'll wait and see.
Yep. Same here in the Denver area. The mountains have already gotten some snow, and so we're fixing to get some snow and somewhere around the middle of the week, and have a real hard freeze also. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's hit the ground running. Still no Speaker of the House. They can't seem to pick on anyone. One side is saying it's like the three bears. Well, this one's too conservative. This one's too moderate. And this one is too much in the middle. So,
yeah. I read an article today that
you did? In Oklahoma?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, in Oklahoma, yeah. It was talking about the reason they can't settle. For it, basically, it's not that they. Well, it starts out saying their back is broken. The Republican Party has certain groups of people that like to run the party a certain way, and they have been for years. Okay, they've, one of the things they're looking for, they're wanting somebody who is a leader in the party as far as fundraising goes. They want somebody who can help the party raise, from big donors. Those big donors are the ones that also support lobbyists. And some of that lobbyist money is going to influence them in order to, as far as fundraising goes, so that they'll keep feeding the pipeline to, let's say, weapons to Ukraine. And had Jim Jordan been elected, well, that probably would have stopped or come close. Plus, and I didn't realize it had been this long. I knew it had been a long time, but I didn't realize one of the things that's been going on is we haven't had a budget in 27 years.
Right.
27 years without a budget. Because
and
we just
haven't balanced a budget since Clinton was president. When we controlled, the House.
Yeah, when we controlled the House. But the problem is the people we got in there now are not the same people that were in there in 2010. When Clinton was, 1998. I meant.
Yeah.
Wrong one. Going back.
Yeah,
1998. Those
that would be 92 to 2000.
yeah, right. And so during the Congress that was elected, was it 94 or 98 that the contract with America came out?
94 is when we
94.
took back the house.
Right.
Yep.
And so from that point, we had a good conservative bunch of people that were fiscal conservatives as well as, social and general conservatives. But we don't have that anymore. And the reason is because we have all these, they're not quite rhinos, but they're not quite Republicans. They're somewhere, they're like, they're conservative, they're basically,
Conservative
they're just,
on some issues and liberal on others.
very
Yeah.
liberal. And the idea is had Jim Jordan got in there, he would have stopped the money going to the Ukraine. That's why they're considering expanding the powers of the if they expand the powers on the Speaker pro tem right now and allow him to run things, you're not going to see a Speaker in the House. You may never see a Speaker in the House again. They'll just continue that.
Well,
It's
not
like
on
a
the
continuing
Republican
resolution.
side.
And not on the Republican side. You'll see it on the Democrats. And that's the thing. The Democrats can just, but they're all about all that big money anyways. That's
Right.
they're liberal. They give it out. But the Republicans, as long as we've got those kind of liberals, liberal-minded, fiscal liberals in the Republican Party, they don't care what the electorate says. Even if 90% of the Republican voters are saying, we don't want this, they don't care. They go to their big donors and say, what do you want?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of guys that, Jordan and Gates and some of those others are trying to get rid of, those, but the Republican Party in general is trying to say, as one of my idiot dogs, the Republican Party is trying to say, we need these big donors. We got to have this for the next
even your
election.
dogs don't agree.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, that's part of my take on it.
I have a list of the candidates that are up for Speaker. We've got Tom Emmer of Minnesota. You might know this guy, Lloyd. Kevin Hearn, Oklahoma.
Yes. Yeah.
Pete Sessions, Texas. Austin Scott, Georgia. Byron Donalds, Florida. He's the only black candidate. Jack Bergman, Michigan. Mike Johnson, Louisiana. Dan Muir, of Pennsylvania. And Gary Palmer of Alabama.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know that much about Hearn because he's not my representative. He's from a different district. I think he's actually, he might be out of District 1, which is up in the Tulsa area. I'm in District 2.
Okay.
And they tend to, part of Tulsa, there's a certain little segment of the Tulsa metro that is part of District 2, but for the most part, it's District 1, and that covers most of the northeast corner of Oklahoma, from Tulsa over to the border, and Tulsa north up towards the Kansas border. So the Kansas, Missouri, and Arkansas corner up there.
Right.
And,
now, prior to the show, I just saw a Fox interview with Newt Gingrich talking about this same subject, and he was hoping that Stefanik from New York and another woman would be one of the candidates, because maybe with a female at the helm, might be able to, pull things together. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she was able to, pull it together for her side. And now she's not even in the leadership role. They've got someone else running it on
Jeffries.
Jeffries.
Yep. And well, you got to look at the 20 people that cited, And of course, Gates was, Getz, whatever his name is.
Yeah, from Florida. Yep.
Yeah, you got to look
Matt
at the start looking at the people that are willing to side with the Democrats, and you're going to find the ones that are in that narrow margin of huge fundraisers for the because that's what this is all about. It's all to get the speaker has to be somebody that can get along with all of these big donors, and that's who they want.
Right.
Somebody who can.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about the electorate. They don't care about us. They only care about how much money can this person bring to our party.
Well, and that is also important as well, especially for those candidates that are in marginally conservative districts, because we need to hold on to those seats, because the locus of power is in Congress right now. And if we have more R's and D's, we control all the committees, and we control all the funding. And, and everybody's always talking about we need to take money out of politicians. I'm sorry, but money equals speech. And without money, you can't get your message out.
That is true, but the problem that I see with most of these funds that are being, if they had put funds in where they needed to be in the last election, we would have got that red wave. But they didn't put it into the places that really needed it. They put it into the old names, the guys that have been around. They put it into those. So because their idea was they wanted to control it. They thought they were going to have the big red wave. It didn't happen, but they didn't care because they're still looking at 24. That's why, and the other thing is you got to look, Jordan, he was a pro-Trump person, and they're not going to let a pro-Trump person be speaker.
He's also the leader of the Freedom Caucus.
Freedom Caucus. That's right. He's one of the founding members. And you're not going to see those guys in that position. They're going to have to be the what do you call that? The people who have been there forever. The
establishment.
Establishment. That's what they're wanting. Establishment people to be the leaders, and that's the problem we have. And that's why it's what this is. All this is done. It's not because it's not made us. We've not become dysfunctional. It's just showing it's showing the dysfunction that's already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And it's also part of the new blood coming in, and they want to, take it over and say, hey, we've had enough. You guys have been running it forever, and we need to take it over, and we need to be.
And that's what they were elected.
Fiscally,
that's what they were elected on. That's why they were elected. But there's not enough of them. I agree. McCarthy was probably the best man for the job because he had, and that's where
he was able to work a coalition with Democrats and get, still
did what he said he wanted to do.
Continuing resolution.
Continuing resolution. Yeah. That's something that's got to be stopped. We've got to, and we can't do that when we got so many people in power. It's a balancing act between, like you said, we got to have the money in order to get the seats. We got to have the seats. How do we keep those seats? Well, to keep getting our people reelected. But on the other hand, we've got to primary some of them and primary them with good candidates that could beat the Democrats. Right. And the Republican Party is, they're no longer the grand old party.
No. Nope.
They're just a bunch
here
of
in Colorado.
I'll let you.
They're the smallest party right now, with 24%, where the biggest majority is the unaffiliate. I mean, they're almost
and that's
half.
That's the other problem. The unaffiliate or / independent groups destroy us because we don't offer them anything. Instead, we keep giving them this. it's the same old crap year after year. I've been preaching this since we've been doing this show. We've got to find a way to, if we can lose an election, we are good at it. We know how to lose elections. And that's by keeping the same old, same old. And, these guys are entrenched. Am I happy to have to get rid of my current congressman and start out with, start at the bottom of the rung again? No. But if that's what it takes, that's what we need to do. And we got to get people that are involved in some of these establishment states that have these establishment people. We got to get people involved there. I live in Oklahoma. We're conservative. We're probably just about the most conservative state in the union. And we've got all Republicans representing us in both the Senate and the House. We had a Democrat. We had one Republican that voted for impeachment, and we flat told her. Everybody told her it was in the news. Every statewide they were saying, "You vote impeachment, you're out of office." And she didn't make it through the primary,
right?
And but yes, we need term limits, but we can't get the term limits in there until we can get parties in power. If you live in a moderate state, you have to make sure you get a moderate Republican, a moderate Republican, or make sure you get a conservative that can take because we need the independent votes. The Republicans more than the Democrats. The Democrats, they've got them most of the time anyways, but even those that run on the independent ticket and win, they end up voting.
Yeah, they usually swing to the left. Yes. And also, I think a lot of these unaffiliates are people that are fed up with both parties. More so on the Democrat side than on the Republican side.
Right.
Because of what's happened here in Colorado, and I'm sort of one of them. I'm still a Republican, but a lot of us said, screw it. I am not supporting the Republican Party because of all this fighting that's going on with the two factions.
That's the problem we're seeing with the House right now, too. That's why we can't get Jaber says we need cemetery voters also. Yeah. All those cemetery voters that vote for the Democrats need to start voting for us. We got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
We have got to start.
I just got my ballot for this year, and so I got to go through. It's mostly municipal elections, and fortunately, Westminster is 5-2 Republicans control. But we're still spending not as much as Democrats would spend, but we're still.
And that's what people are tired of. They're tired of their tax dollars going to, like they were saying in the chat. I think it is God Bless America said, what have the Ukrainians done for us?
Right.
Well, they did give our president a really good retirement package. So when he retires, he'll have all that money that his son, earned for him. That 10% that goes to the big guy.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. We've got these career politicians, and nobody wants their guy to be, because when your guy comes in, if he's new, well, he's at the bottom of the list. He gets the office over in the closet,
Right, or they get to share an office.
Yeah, they get to share the closet with somebody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's how it goes. When you're the new guy, you get to share an office, and once you've been in the office,
these new guys that came in,
you've got a proven record of winning. Then you get your office, and when you become speaker, then you get the office that's like the closest to the chamber. So
or the closest to the bathroom, one of the two.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it depends on the age of the speaker. Room. Nancy's was real close to the bathroom because of her age, McCarthy, he was a little younger, so they had his a little further down the hall.
Well, you know what? She's from San Francisco, she should
So she
be
could just go out and crap on the
drinking
sidewalk.
that wine for that's specially for incontinent people called Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Is
I
she from
bet
San
Napa
Francisco?
Valley is probably.
Yeah, I guess that, yeah, Napa Valley, yeah.
But if you look at a map of California, most of the red, districts are over on the western side or in the where they
In the north.
in the north and where they have agriculture.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder why Nancy keeps getting reelected, because Napa Valley is agricultural.
Well, her
Sort of.
district is depends on how her district is shaped.
Sectioned off, yeah.
Yeah, because we call that gerrymandering. But does anybody know why it's called gerrymandering?
I used to know years ago, but I hadn't thought about it.
All right, it goes all the way back to the early, I think the 19th century, and there was a congressman, and his name was Jerry, Jerry or Mandarin, or Man, and they said, "Hey, his district looks like a snake. And that's how they got the name gerrymandering.
Okay.
Jerrry.
Jerrry, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I remember studying that in history, and I should have known that, but that's part of it I forget about.
That was one of the few things that really stuck in my head, because every election you hear about that, especially every 10 years
every 10 years after a census. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, about the only district that could possibly flip for Colorado would be District 8, which narrowly went to a Democrat because a libertarian ran. And who put that libertarian in? Oh, it was the idiot Republicans who were pissed off that their candidate didn't win the primary, so they put up a libertarian. So,
Well, and this is the other problem we've got going on up there. This is the reason the House is because there's a lot of personal grudges left. There's personal grudges from all the way back to whenever, and they're like a bunch of school kids. They're like, he looked at me funny in class, and I'm going to beat him up when I get out in the schoolyard, And
whatever happened to the Tea Party movement? That kind of just went away after Trump got in. Now it's the MAGA. Oh, the ultra MAGA people. Ooh, they're so dangerous.
That's the Tea Party. That's the thing. The Tea Party was an actual movement of people that had gotten together. They had Tea Party candidates.
Yep.
MAGA is just Make America Great Again, which I don't see what the problem with that would be, but apparently the liberals don't like. Yeah, right. Whatever. They just, they've got to. They couldn't come up with anything better. That's the problem. I mean, that's a great slogan. Make America Great Again. We used to be great back in the 1950s and in the 60s. And
you mean before
part of
civil rights?
No, after civil rights, from 1968 to 76.
64.
Well, yeah, but
the first
all right,
one.
We'll go. We'll go from 64. No, 68 to set. Yeah, but from 68 to 76, we were really doing well. We did well in the 50s,
Yep.
And then we got Jimmy Carter.
Well, Well,
and it's sort of,
that was a backlash to Watergate.
yes, it
Because
was.
because
And
Nixon
compared to
effed
this
up
current president, and compared to this president, Watergate seems like a trip to
like
Disneyland.
yeah,
It's like the little girl stole a nickel piece of candy down at the local convenience store. That's what
well, people
Watergate
gotta
was.
know that this president was not a crook, and I am not a crook.
And I think personally he should have not resigned. I think he should have wrote it out. You see what happened? And once he was convicted and removed from office, then the Vice President Gerald Ford could have pardoned him. But because of the fact Gerald Ford pardoned him before, that's what cost Ford the election. That's was a big reason,
Right.
And
who tried the primary Ford? That would be Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there was at one point they were talking about a Reagan Ford ticket at one time.
And who was against Reagan in 76? Oh, that would be George H.W. Bush.
In 76?
Yep.
Thought it was 76 was Ford and
oh God, now
Carter.
You got me wondering who was
Ford and Carter ran in 76.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about who were the Republicans that wouldn't support Reagan back then.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think Dick Cheney didn't support him either. He was a congressman from Wyoming.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Charles, I wish you'd calm down. Yeah.
He gets so excited when we talk about this stuff.
He gets all riled up.
For those of you that are watching out there, I want to say this. I want this on record.
Oh, geez.
Charles does talk, and he talks eloquently.
Well, he's kind of the Penn and Teller of the show.
He's a great dungeon master.
Yes.
I've seen him in action. I watched him on his show, and he talks. I heard him talk more Thursday night than I've heard him talk in the last year on any of us shows we're on together.
Thanks for the compliment, Lloyd. That's considering considering the fact that you're an old school grognard, and had years and years and years way more experience than I do. That's a hell of a compliment. So thank you so much.
It was excellent to watch. It was really enjoyable. I was getting into it. Took me a minute to pick up what was going on at first, and then all of a sudden, okay. Kind of refreshed the old gray cells, I had to kicked it all back in. I'm sitting there telling Judy, remember on Tuesday, because I was in a wheelchair at the time we were doing that. So the guys got together and decided a great thing for me would be come over every Tuesday night, and we'd, the art of the roll, as you guys call it. We'd roll the dice and play D&D, and that's actually how my son, who had problems with reading.
Welcome to 3 Conservative Gimps and D&D.
Yeah, but anyways, just as an aside, my son was having my youngest son was having problems reading at the time, and because we used 3x5 cards to keep all of our stats on, that helped him improve his reading because he had to learn, and of course. It went from him, and then now my grandson. That's how my grandson actually met his fiance. Was playing D&D.
Oh wow!
They're still very strong in it. So, it was good to watch. But yes, Charles does. I almost said Carl. What I was thinking. Oh, I know why.
Charles.
Anyways, Charles or Chaz, as he goes by on that channel, actually does talk, and he talks quite a bit. I was impressed. You did very good there. So
thank you.
Now you can talk some more about politics, because I'm going to take a rest.
So we had an interesting event that happened just recently here in Colorado. One of our congressmen, Ken Buck from CD4, which that's up in the northeast east quadrant of the state, which is mostly Weld County, Sedgwick, and Yuma, and way up there. And well, he's been evicted from his office, his home office, because the owner of the building is a big Republican donor who's pissed off that he did not support Jim Jordan. Yeah,
Jim Jordan. Yeah.
And so he's now he's got to look for a new place to have his local office here. He used to be based out of Windsor, Colorado, which is right up there by Firestone and Erie, Colorado, just east of I-25.
Yeah.
Take I-25 to exit 235 and 5 miles west to the tree farm.
Obviously a commercial.
Yeah, and it's one of those and it's a great commercial. Whoever came up with that jingle, they deserve the Silver Sow Award.
Yeah, we had one here in Oklahoma that is one of the Toyota dealerships, and it was here in Muskogee, and the guy would always say, "Come down to Ewing Toyota in Muskogee." And after that, we had Chinese and Japanese. We had Chinese restaurants would say in Muskogee, and it just got to be a catchphrase, And the guy actually, when our congressman, oh hell, I can't remember his name now. He was a doctor. He was a congressman, then went on to become a Senate. Tom, was it Tom? I can't remember his name. Very conservative. He served 12 years. That was the way the state was set. The way the state wanted it. We have term limits, but nobody. But he chose to, even though he's federal, he chose to Tom Coburn. Anyways, when Coburn left the House, Andy Ewing of Ewing Toyota was to take his place, and he just didn't have the pizzazz to. He was a great car salesman, great car salesman, but he just wasn't a good politician, So he lost in the primary. So,
well, Andrew wanted to know if I live near Erie, Colorado. No, Erie is quite a ways north of where I live. It is, well, the next big city is Loveland, Longmont, and then you got Fort Collins, which is halfway between Denver and Cheyenne, Wyoming. So it's about a 45-minute drive up there to Fort Collins.
Yeah, that's where my mother was born, was Fort Collins.
Yeah. And that's with one E, like Lake Erie.
Right.
Yep. And there's quite a big salvage yard that has some classic autos there. And I got to fly my Mavic Air there, so I have a video on my channel. I'll have to do a yeehaw! I fly my Mavic Air around salvage yard.
Welcome to Three Conservative Gimps, the Colorado Tourist Edition. I just had to pay you back.
So, Ken Buck, he's part of the Freedom Caucus, and so is Lauren Boebert. And Lauren is a little more outspoken than Ken is, and she is. I mean, if you're on Twitter or X, she is all over the place on that. So she's pretty hardline conservative, and oh boy, I'd like to see her as speaker. I mean, she's a looker.
To see her, period.
Yeah. No, you don't want to see her, period.
No, I don't. Yeah, I walked into that one. Okay, that was just
No, you walked right into that.
Yeah, I walked right into it. Yeah,
that's what 3 months of not drinking does. You're just a little sharp. You know? And that's probably the thing that's keeping me away from that. And I feel good. And sometimes, I get out my total beverage app and I go, oh, you know what, maybe I'll get nope, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna save that $30 for, I don't know, something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something I don't really miss is drinking.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. I have a lot of my musician friends that have been sober for quite a while, which is great news to hear from those guys. Because back in the day, oh God.
Oh yeah, when I was in the service, I was drinking at least a quart of Jack Daniels a day, sometimes 2 quarts, depending on. I drink a quart. I was one of those guys. It got so bad, which is terrible because I actually loaded bombs. But
yeah, you were bomb loading bombs.
Yeah, I was bomb loading bombs. Yeah, it was so bad that I drank so heavy once I was off work that if I didn't have, I'd take my 10 o'clock break. We'd take a morning break. Everybody go out to the Roach Coach to get something to eat. I'd run over to the barracks and grab a shot of, take a couple of shots of whiskey, or otherwise, and when you're working on bombs, you don't want to have the shake. So
yeah,
but yes, a little high percentage alcohol is good as an antiseptic. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I drank a lot.
All right,
so I was in the service.
So now we get the show back on the rails here.
Yes, let's talk about something exciting.
Some Democrats are having their problems of their own, and they are members of. Well, there are a couple members of the squad that are going off the rails, and these are probably the most anti-Semitic people we've got in Congress, and that tells you a lot about the Democrat Party. And even Nancy is starting to say, "Hey, cut that crap,"
Yeah, to leave right there.
They're not listening.
That says it all.
And
no, they don't care.
And they're giving disinformation, saying Israel bombed a hospital, which that is not true. And even Omar posted a picture of some dead babies. That wasn't even in Israel. It was from another incident that happened years ago, and she posted that picture.
Oh yeah. Ilyan Omar and Tlaib, both of them are
Rashida Tlaib from Dearbornistan, Michigan.
Is she the one? Isn't she the one who married her brother to so he could become a citizen?
That's Ilyan Omar.
Oh, that's Ilyan. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Somali.
Yeah. Well, I never thought I'd see the day in which we would have people that were that we'd elect that our country would elect, enemies of the state, and
you gotta take a look at the district they're from.
Oh, I know. That's the problem. See,
and
now they're going so far as they want to make Palestinians the refugees over here. Let's get them out of Gaza Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, they're probably half of them are already here anyways. They came across the southern border.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is just, even
AOC is starting to go like, hey.
Oh. Yeah, exactly.
Every time she says, shh.
Yeah, they're not listening. That's the problem. They're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
care.
They're
not. And
they've got an agenda. They've got an agenda.
And they're driving away rich donors, especially well-to-do Jewish donors who were
Yeah.
very liberal. And not only that, there was a rabbi from the synagogue that was stabbed to death in Detroit.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, it's a matter of time, something's going to happen. And that's the thing. Hamas, Iran, and Hezbollah, they're in this for the long game. This Israel goes in and wipes out Hamas. That's okay. They've got martyrs now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They can. Iran has new martyrs. They can hire new. They can recruit new martyrs for their cause.
Right. Nice.
And this administration isn't doing anything to help. He had a speech the other night in which he talked about Israel for 10 minutes and Ukraine for 30 minutes,
Would that be the State of the Union speech that he had on Tuesday?
Well, it wasn't a State of the Union because it's not the time of year for State of the Union.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's in February, usually.
January, February, yeah. It's usually... Yeah, no, that was his speech to the nation and his support of Israel speech, which it turned out it was support of Israel and the Ukraine. And the Ukraine.
Why does he squint all the time? It looks like Walter's actually giving the speech.
Yeah. Well, it's the fact that
either that or Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah. Well, they need to make the print bigger on his teleprompter, and they need to slow it down a little more,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because then he could speak in a slow, controlled voice and actually think about what bullshit is coming out of his mouth. Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the reason he's squinting. He can't see the damn thing, and that's the reason he makes so many screw-ups is because of the fact he can't read it, so he makes shit up in his head to go along with whatever he thinks is on there. Yeah. He's asking for $100 billion for these wars. Yeah, the problem is he's given the majority of that to the Ukraine, and the Ukraine is not our ally. They never have been. They've been our enemies. They've been part of Russia, and they were never our allies. They're not part of NATO. There's no point of us being in the Ukraine. And the fact that their war hero was a Nazi, really?
Right.
Let's get real. That makes you think that maybe what Biden said when he called him Putin, when he called. The reason he went into Ukraine is because of the Nazis that are in there. Maybe there's some truth to that. Now, when you see what happened up in Canada, a former Nazi was from the who worked with Ukrainian who worked with the Nazis, is made a war hero in Canada. Like, ooh, really?
Well, if you look at the history of how the Ukrainians were treated under Stalin, when Operation Barbarossa started, the Nazis were looked at as liberators.
Yeah.
And then they found out, well, shit, they're just as bad as the government we had. So, a lot of them sided with the Germans.
It's the fact that we shouldn't be in that war. We should never have been in that war. I support the people of the Ukraine that are suffering, the ones that were suffering under their government before Putin ever got in there, before the stand-up comedian took over, No offense, Art. But he was a stand-up comedian. That's the thing. That's
right.
That means, Art, that gives you a good chance of becoming the leader of a country. See?
Yeah,
there's hope for you yet.
By the way, I'm going to be seeing.
We'll call you Little Big Man.
Yep. So we got that going on. We got elections coming up. I got my ballot, so now I got to pick who's going to be on the school board. And funny enough, I got a flyer from some of the candidates, and they're saying, "Don't vote for these guys. These guys can't be trusted near academia." And who are they endorsed by? The teachers union. Yeah, that'll give me an incentive not to vote for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
We lost Charles. I was going to say something.
Yeah.
Oh, mail-in ballots.
Yep.
Let me ask you, would you put a $500 in cash in an envelope and stick it in the mailbox and mail it to yourself?
No.
Why?
Because
you don't trust the postal services, right?
Right.
But yes, you put a ballot in the mail.
I don't drop it off in the mail.
Okay.
I take it.
But a lot of people do.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's what that's tantamount to, mailing
what?
a ballot.
I'm a ballot harvester because I take my sister's ballot and drop it off. If she doesn't drop it off in time.
Right.
Most of the time, because she actually lives in Westminster. And she's closer to City Hall. For me, the DMV in Nevada is closer.
Yeah. Right.
So, hey, let's say hello to the people in the chat. We've been ignoring them.
We got
Mark R. White. We got Andrew. We got Steve Knowles. We got Andrew. We got Joey J. Bird. And Mr. B, who was the winner this weekend of the candy I haven't bought yet. And we got Joe Murica, USA Drone Flyer. And... yeah, Mr. B. And, Grant, Mr. Stay Drunk popped in a little early. And
you said Jaybird, right?
Yep, Jaybird. That'd be Joey.
Yeah. Joey.
And I haven't seen Drone Shot yet, so I figured this would be a light show because most of our followers are probably still in Austin.
Yep,
like
probably
Steve
still in
Carpenter
Austin. Well, that's the way it was last Friday night on Northeast Drone Productions.
Right.
He had a small show. He says, "There's not a lot of people." I said, "Yeah, that's because everybody's down and at spin up." So yeah.
Yep.
And,
same with last night's show. It started off pretty good crowd, respectable, but before they run out. Well, the candy that I get is not the ordinary Hershey's and Mars stuff that's in those bags that they sell for $15 or $20. I wait until the day after Halloween when they have them 50% off.
Speaking of Halloween, I went down and bought some candy today. Judy wanted she doesn't always ask for candy, but she decided she wanted banana flavored, and I was trying to think of it like there's now and later is probably what she's wanting, but I ended up buying it because they had it on sale. A bag, you buy one get one free of Laffy Taffy. God, I haven't had that in years. And then I remembered why they called it Laffy Taffy, because all the jokes on there are the ones that Art wrote.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forgot.
I didn't break out the Bazooka Joe.
Yeah, I know. Well, the little, because I bought a bag of them, so it's individual. There's apple, grape, banana, and strawberry. And on the back side, on the top, it has the joke. Then you flip over there's a little flap, which is the seam down the back, and that's where the answers are at. Every one I've read so far sound like your jokes, Art. They really do.
I'm not a huge taffy fan, but
well, this is the first time I bought taffy probably in 20 years. I've bought any of this, but she had a hankering for the banana
used to be a taffy puller when you worked at that. What is it, Schreiber's candy?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
over there on Atlantic City.
Yeah, I think
New
so.
Jersey? Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Hey, we got Michael Cool Cats here. Good to see you, sir.
Hey, Michael.
We got a few
Oh,
minutes
Michael.
left. Yep. Yes, Andrew, I saw that skit, and that is an old bit going back in the
I was going to say, and
90s.
that popped up on my YouTube feed this week too. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, fortunately for Dominic, because I, influenced him on who to see. He's getting Mary Burke and Coco Star on his feed lately.
I haven't got any of that. Although,
Oh,
what did
that's
I
good.
get?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to wean myself off of that. And
yeah.
I started a new segment, and Charles can attest, called It's Mary.
Oh, yes.
And she was talking about her cedar sash around her. Oh, her cedar trim. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I'd like to see her cedar trim.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't. What did I? I actually went to sleep early last night. That's what happened.
Oh, there you go.
Well, we were binge watching this weekend the Brokenwood Mysteries, which is a New Zealand mystery series that's.
Cool.
They've got some recurring characters, and they've got to be some of the dumbest bad guys I've ever sone. They had 4 guys run in to rob a bank. They're wearing big bag wolf masks. They're all wearing, one of them straight line ties, in black suit. But they go in there, they have a bag, and they say, "We got a bomb." I said, "You got a what?" "We got a bomb." Well, I couldn't understand with that mask. And then finally,
one of them pulls up and says,
"No," but he goes, one of the guys behind the counter says, "Steve?" "No, I'm not Steve, and he's not Steve, and who's Steve?" And then then they finally go running out after they get the money, after somebody's been shot in the back, or shot in the back room. The president was shot in the back room. They go running out, storming out. They've got the money that they could. They run out there, and the getaway car's gone. And he comes driving from around the corner. They jump in, and he drives about 5 feet, and the car stalls. Mind you, the police are on their way. That you can hear it. They've triggered the alarm right off. One of the gals did, and they all go running different ways. One of the guys, they're not doing very well at robbing the bank, so he sees a gal with a sack of money. Unfortunately, she was a former convict with the women's prison there after she had killed her husband. Yeah, that's what's going on. So they think, well, we're going to steal the bag of money. It was that she was getting ready to make a deposit. Well, she wasn't going to have any of it. They try to take it away from her, and she hauls off and kicks the guy in the shin. And so now he's going hobbling out, and then she ends up chasing him down, and the guy ends up with a broken arm, actually 2 broken arms, because she picks him up, body slams him. They were the dumbest crooks, and the good thing is none of them were the killers. It was actually the guy who said he recognized the voice of one of those guys. Well, he was the actual killer.
Okay.
But, it was...
I've watched another episode of the new Frasier, and the writing has gotten better in this episode. Just as funny as the old series. And I mean, it's the same sarcasm and...
Right.
Yeah.
Except now he's sort of playing the part of what his dad used to play. He's the dad now, and he's living with his sons, right? Yeah.
His son's living with them because he bought the building. So he's got the apartment across the hall, and that gal with the baby, who happens to be, I guess, his best friend at the fire department, who got killed. She's living across the hall. So, we are getting pretty close to the end. Any other crazy stuff going on. We got ballots going out. We got our list of candidates. I hope the hell they picked somebody. I think, and I agree with Newt Gingrich. They need to, lock him in and say, "You're not leaving. We'll give you a couple of potty breaks. Bring in food. You're not leaving until you pick, what is it, 217. Get 217 votes, and let's get this damn thing done."
Yeah, they've got to do something because, we're at that point where money has to be
a year away from the big election. We can't be screwing around like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm really pissed at Getz in some of those guys because it wasn't so bad that they put us through 15 rounds trying to get McCartney in the first place, but then they turn around and get rid of him, and that rule was stupid. The way they played that and the way it was brought up and done, it was just uncalled for. Yeah, McCartney did not follow through, but there's other ways to deal with that, and the fact that that's where the problem lies, is because the conservative coalition, or whatever they are now, conservative caucus, they're tired of the continuing resolutions, and the omnibus packages. We need to have a budget. End of conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Denver Broncos won today.
Yeah,
so, hey, that's their second game they've won. They beat the Packers 19-17.
Close game.
Yay!
Good game.
Lions got clobbered today. They got manhandled by the Ravens today. And
OU
Buffalo
won
Bills,
their game again yesterday.
They managed to screw up a lead with 2 minutes to go, and they lost. Yep.
Well, University of Oklahoma is 5-0 right now, I think.
Good.
If they beat Texas last week.
CU plays UCLA next weekend. That would be
okay.
That'd be University of Colorado between Lawrence and Arapahoe. Those are 2 streets in Denver. It used to be Skid Row, which is now Lodo.
That means they just don't have as much as they used to, right? Lodo.
Yeah. Yep. Lower downtown.
Yeah.
All right, everybody in the chat, thank you for coming and putting up with us tonight. Hopefully, we gave you some good information, and hopefully we made it a bit entertaining. So, have a great week, and we'll catch you next week. Next Saturday is my Halloween show on Artco, so check that out. That's going to be a good show. We'll talk about slasher movies and candy. So have a great week, and God bless you, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.